What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Roach coming at you with another video, and for this one, we're going to talk a little church security. And what we're looking at right here, and let me go full screen. We're looking at the entrance into Gateway Church. It's in the south in Grapevine. I forget where, but it's kind of in the Fort Worth area, Fort Worth, Texas area. Now, some of you are probably asking, what does this have to do with security? This is a church video. I don't want to watch a church video. Pay attention because there's going to be something. I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory here. If you've been watching the news lately, you know that Gateway Church has been undergoing lots of damage control. A few months ago, the senior pastor, Robert Morris, resigned after a lady named Cindy Clemishire spoke out about an incident where she was raped by him when she was a child. Cindy is currently in her 50s, and yes, statute of limitations is gone, but what can you imagine in the church when somebody comes out and says you committed a crime on a person? It's not going to be well, and the fallout has just been ongoing and ongoing and ongoing ever since. In this video, one of the congregants, her name is Valentina Hansen, has been speaking out. She's been questioning a whole lot about everything. The finances, how they report sexual abuse, things like that. And she's been turned away and very much dismissed when asking these kind of questions. And she's been very outspoken of it to a point. So much to a point where in this video, she received a letter saying she was trespassed from any of the Gateway campuses. And I'm going to put a link to the article, to an article that I'm going to put up here a little later. But as this relates to security, you notice I said sexual abuse. If you're familiar with Hillsong Church, how the allegations that led to the resignation of Brian and Bobby Houston, that happened. You know how that story fell. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there on that, in which I'm not going to. The one I'm going to link to. Well, I saw this after watching a video on this particular topic. Off of Not by Sight News. I'm going to put a link to the channel in the description if you want to follow up on the church corruption that's ongoing. But for purposes of this security video, I'm going to play this and let's have a look at it. And I'm going to stop it along the way, and I'm going to give you my take on several things.
Good, how are you?
Ma'am, unfortunately, have you seen the email that the elder sent to you?
Yeah, but it didn't say I can't attend church. It doesn't. Do you want to see it?
Yes, ma'am, I have the email. Would you like to talk to my boss?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to apologize ahead of time if the audio is a little low compared to my voice here talking into the mic. I didn't get when I watched the video initially, I couldn't hear a whole lot, as like I can hear through my headphones. And so hopefully you can make out enough of it. I am working on the upgrades, and I definitely appreciate you guys pointing out in my last video the audio issues, because it's giving me something to address, and I'm working on moving to a better platform where I can mix these a little bit better and bring you some good content and stuff to talk about. Anyway.
Do you want me to wait
Well,
outside?
can you and Eddie come a minute, please? Yes, ma'am.
All right, thanks.
Very polite, very professional. Well, okay, whatever.
So the email says that my membership was revoked and my volunteering services said nothing about not being able to attend services.
Okay. Well, I'll have them explain it to you.
Who's coming out?
My boss.
Okay. Does your boss have a name?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you care to give it?
One moment.
You don't know your boss's name?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
You don't know your boss's name?
Oh, yes, I do. I do. I do.
That's a good one. I love it. I love it.
So who's coming out?
His name is Will Thrower.
What is it?
Will Thrower.
Will what?
Thrower.
Thrower.
You didn't hear that. His boss's name is Will Thrower. Again, I apologize if the playback on the video is low. Like I say, I couldn't hear it initially when I was watching it, and I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it now. That's my backup notification that it's starting to back up on this computer. Anyway, let's keep going.
Hi there. See you.
Little rant. Why do people say okay so much? I had an instructor. You ram it down my throat that nothing is okay with them. So I learned to eliminate that word okay from my vocabulary. Anyway, I digress.
Any door you would like.
We're bringing the cavalry.
No.
I'm one person. Why is there like 3 other people here?
Oh, they
four.
were. No, they were.
Excuse me.
They just happened to be with us. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never seen you guys walk in packs in the 2 years that I've been here.
Well, it's.
One thing you can learn, she's learned this. I picked up on it also. They were ready. They were waiting on her. So she's asked enough questions that they considered her
Showing uncontrolled should cause a division, and we can't have you in here because you're going to divide the church up and
whatever. Anyway,
We haven't met yet. I'm Eddie. Nice to meet you.
Valentina, nice to meet you as well.
We're gonna ask you not to come in.
oh, look at that. We're going to have to ask you not to come in. She ends it here. I would have liked to have seen the rest of the video, but let me switch to full screen. And I'm going to play another clip. Actually, we're going to watch there's an article. It's from the Roy's Report. And let me get me in there. This is what you're looking at here. This is where this is stemming from, and the title of it, Gateway Church, and notice, in battle, Gateway Church dismisses church member who called for an investigation. Okay. Little backstory here. This church was the governing church over a church that I used to attend about a couple of years ago. Well, a family I know, apparently there was some mishap, in my church. There was some questions being asked. Several people. One family asked enough questions, was speaking out against church abuse that was ongoing there, just like when Valentina is here. And lo and behold, they had to leave. They had to leave the church, and the church labeled them as wolves. In fact, I was at this church's what they call covenant member meetings, and they, make a long story short, they tried to mobilize an entire congregation against his family, which that didn't sit well with me, and I'm still not over it, but that's going to be enough. That's going to be another video. In here, I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to put a link to this article in the description so you can look at this. Look at this for yourself. There it is. The security guards. One guy playing. He was playing on his phone. Could have radioed. Well, okay, may have had a radio. I didn't see it initially, but there's and you see there local PD was called from South Lake. Apparently, they knew they were expecting her, and they were afraid she was going to cause trouble. Oh well, whatever. And but here's something. Here's something I'm going to read here. Miss Hansen tells the Roy's report the Texas megachurch is retaliating against her for a series of social media posts calling for accountability at the church. Not only was she booted from church membership for continuing to sow discord, I guess that's the term I was looking for, but she was also barred from the building after she publicly called for an investigation in the church's finances and mandatory reporting practices on child sexual abuse. Ooh, child sexual abuse. Well, where have I heard that before? Wait, let me go to the main screen. Those of you working security in a church, you should consider that as a very noble post. Because what you're doing there is you are protecting the flock. People going around, they're yapping, you're yakking, conversing, they're going in their small groups, Bible studies, they're going into the main auditorium for a church service, whatever the case may be. You're doing your rounds, you are making sure everything is safe. I've done this, I've done church security myself. Most of the people you're going to deal with are very friendly. I don't consider myself a very friendly person, although some of you that know me well, you're probably going to think different. But that's neither here nor there. My point is this. You're protecting that church from crime, from an active shooter, from any disturbances, any known disturbances, active shooters, things of that sort. But what if in the instance, and I'm going to point out to a couple of, you can search on YouTube for the collapse of the Hillsong, Carl Lentz. But let's just say, for an instance, you're standing at your post and you got a family, a mom and dad and a child. They may mistake you for a cop. And they want to talk to you about something that happened to their child that was inappropriate by one of the pastors or volunteers there. And you're going to say, I know some of you are going to say this,
I don't want to hear it. My job's to serve a report.
Well, you're doing that. You're observing them and you're listening to them tell you about a crime that happened and you're going to report it. Who are you going to report it to? You better be getting PD out there to all your supervisor. Let's say if they contract you out, you want to call your supervisor. Hey, look, I just learned of a crime. I'm calling PD. I don't feel good about this. At least me personally, I don't feel good sitting on the conscience about it. Yeah, I'm going to get PD out. I'm going to let that family talk to an officer and get this side of the story, and then it's going to be up to that officer that's going to decide what he's going to do. Now, anybody that's in the church, any church that doesn't like what I'm saying, and can say,
well, they need to report it to us. It will happen. We'll handle it.
I'm going to point out something to you. There's a lot of grassroots organizations that's out there. If you've ever watched Chris Hansen's To Catch a Predator, a lot of nonprofit grassroots organizations are out there setting up stings, setting and catching people online like Whisper, Telegram, Messenger, whatever the case may be. They're exchanging sexually inappropriate photos to a child, and then they try to then they're going to lure you into, well, you want to go meet that child for sex or do something grossly sexual to that person, and you've been tricked. A case in point, there's two organizations that I actually follow on YouTube. Oklahoma Predator Prevention is one, and down in Florida is Protect the Innocent. They do both do very good work. They set up, they set their people up, and they get them and they catch them and protecting. And both of them have pretty good rapport with law enforcement, and they're able to get arrests. So I'm gonna point something. I'm gonna point something to you on that. Let's say you do. Okay, you do that. You report it up to a church member, staff, or I hear this in the church a lot, overseer, so to speak. Then we'll handle it. Then it's probably going to get swept under the rug because the overseer's got, or boss, so to speak, has got. They have to protect the church. I've seen this. You can't tell me it's not going to happen. I've seen this. And me personally, I don't think I can live with myself. Somebody tells me a crime, like they got us sexually assaulted or something like that, and then I'll report it up to this, and then nothing happens, and then they're still, and that family's still going to probably want some kind of justice or accountability. I get that. I know some of you in the church are probably going to say this, but we're supposed to forgive or this. I'm going to pop another question that to you. Would you trust me around your kids? I know some people in church would say yeah. I would tell you no. I make that, and if you say no, I get it. You don't know me very well. I totally get that. I respect that. I don't do a lot. Probably if I'm active in it, I'd probably be active towards the homeless. The people that's down on their luck. Because when I walked into what was Journey Church at the time here in Norman, about 2016, I was at my wits' end. They took me in, hey, and here's where I am. That's gonna be another video. That's gonna be another video. But my point is this: you get trusted. You have a family when you're in there. When you are at your post in a church, no matter what the size, how big, whatever the case may be, that better be your baby. You better be watching over them. You better make sure nothing happens. But no, my job's observe and report. Well, then you need to find another post where you can do just that, observe and report. Because churches are becoming soft targets. There's people there. You've heard of shootings in churches now. That has happened. So anyway, that being said, recapping, and okay, let me backtrack that for just a second. Let's say you don't report.
I reported it to my boss, and he said he was going to handle it. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Return my vote. Okay, let's say it doesn't happen. All right, that family, and then they're probably working in the background, getting a whole bunch of other people that say, hey, look, we don't like what's going on here in this church either. So they're going to speak up. They're going to talk. They're going to be taking some legal action. They may go as far as I don't know, a private lawyer. They may go the state attorney general. They may get in, and then the chain goes up. They may go into law enforcement may be involved, and they may want an investigation. Then, if there's enough evidence, it could go to the federal level. I'm not sure where Gateway is on this right now, but my point is, head it off at the pass. But I don't want to see a pastor lose a job. Well, do you want them in a position where you can harm kids? That's why I say your head better be in the right spot if you're working security at a church. That's all I got to say about that. But why are you making us look so bad? Because the training out there in security sucks. And I'm sorry, law enforcement trains very much better than private security does. Although I have seen improvements there. On that. A lot of core training is offered in church security. Like I say, whatever. It's out there. Now with that being said, again, you get reported, you're preventing a crime. If you get get a crime reported to you, take some action. And I'd be me. I'd be getting PD. I'd be getting PD right away. That being said, I'm going to end the video with this saying from my old friend Reaper One: trust is earned, loyalty is returned. Y'all have a good one. See you on the next video.